Irin Carmon, Notorious RBG, The Life and Times of Ruth Bader Ginsburg. Embark on the inspiring journey of Ruth Bader Ginsburg, or Notorious RBG, as she conquered societal expectations, gender barriers, and triumphed as a women's rights champion. In Notorious RBG, The Life and Times of Ruth Bader Ginsburg, by Irin Carmon, delve into RBG's Brooklyn roots, her relationship with her mother, gender struggles in law school, persistence in fighting for equal rights, and her historic appointment as Supreme Court Justice. Experience how Ruth Bader Ginsburg became a pop culture icon due to her resilience, dissenting opinions, and unyielding dedication to justice, enforcing equal rights for all Americans.
RBG's early life. Joan Ruth Bader, aka RBG, had a fairly regular childhood despite the prejudice against Jews during her time. She was born to Celia Amster Bader, a first-generation American whose parents had fled from the Austro-Hungarian Empire. Though her mother didn't attend college, she instilled a love for learning in young Kiki and hoped that she would attend university one day. Kiki spent lots of time at the library, reading Nancy Drew mystery novels, playing the cello and enjoying summer camp at Chenawa in the Adirondacks. At age 13, Kiki's mother passed away, which inspired her to excel in her studies. Though she had multiple scholarships to attend Cornell, she didn't attend her graduation because her mother had died the night before. Two significant lessons her mother instilled in Kiki were to be a lady and to be independent, just like she was in saving an additional $8,000 for her daughter's education. Kiki's journey to defy gender role expectations. Kiki Ginsburg's decision to pursue a career in law, despite societal expectations on women in the 1950s, was born out of her observation of societal injustice. As a student at Cornell in 1950, Kiki noticed that many of her female peers were only interested in obtaining a MS degree, finding a husband. Despite being part of the Alpha Epsilon Phi sorority, Kiki avoided parties and instead smuggled books to study. She chose to major in government and studied constitutional law under Robert E. Cushman. While assisting Cushman with an exhibition on censorship during the Red Scare, Kiki observed how lawyers defended the rights of a censored professor and saw an opportunity to help society. Despite parental reservations about Kiki's career choice, she pursued a career as a lawyer. Kiki's relationship with Marty Ginsburg was different from societal expectations. She did not view marriage as a means to obtain economic stability but saw her husband as a supportive partner who respected her ambitions. They married days after Kiki graduated from Cornell in 1954, embarking on a journey that would see Kiki become an accomplished lawyer and judge. Kiki Ginsburg's story is a reflection of the societal expectations placed on women in the 1950s and how Kiki defied those expectations to rise to the top of her profession. RBG's inspiring journey. Ruth Bader Ginsburg faced discrimination as a woman and mother throughout her education and early career. Despite challenges, she excelled in her studies and supported her husband through a cancer diagnosis, eventually becoming a successful lawyer and Supreme Court Justice. RBG's journey to feminism. RBG's path from law grad to feminist icon, navigating adversity while paving the way for women's rights in a male-dominated field. RBG's journey to becoming a feminist icon was paved with grit and determination as she navigated adversities to claim her spot in a male-dominated profession. Despite graduating top of her class from Columbia Law School, RBG was refused a clerkship by Supreme Court Associate Justice Felix Frankfurter after being recommended by her professors, reaffirming that law was not a welcoming profession for women. However, her professor Gerald Gunther pledged to find her a job and promised to replace her with a male if she failed to keep up with her responsibilities while caring for her child. After successfully completing 2 years of clerking, RBG spent 2 years in Sweden, where she noted that Swedish women had started making demands and rejecting traditional gender roles. Upon her return to the United States, she accepted an offer to teach civil procedure at Rutgers University. RBG kept her second pregnancy a secret until after her contract renewal, knowing that most states allowed employers to fire women for being pregnant. In the 1970s, RBG's journey towards gender equality began to align with social change as women began to take to the streets, demanding equal rights as citizens. RBG's story is an inspiration for all aspiring women who seek to break free from gender roles and navigate the challenges of a male-dominated profession. RBG's fight for women's rights. Ruth Bader Ginsburg, RBG, was an American lawyer and judge who fought for women's rights by using her legal skills. In 1971, RBG volunteered to write the brief for Reed v. Reed, where she argued that the state had no right to assume that women were less capable than men. RBG co-founded the ACLU's Women's Rights Project, WRP, in 1972, which aimed to educate the public about discrimination, change laws to give women equal rights, and support people to bring their cases to court. As the head of WRP, RBG argued in front of the Supreme Court for the first time in Frontiero v. Richardson, where she defended a U.S. Air Force lieutenant who was denied benefits for her family based on her gender. RBG also fought for men's rights and represented Stephen Wiesenfeld, a widower who was denied Social Security benefits, in Weinberger v. Wiesenfeld. For RBG, discrimination based on gender was disadvantageous for everyone, and change happens through hard work, one step at a time. RBG's journey to the Supreme Court. Ruth Bader Ginsburg, the second woman in U.S. history to sit on the Supreme Court, had a remarkable journey to get there. In 1972, after becoming a tenured professor at Columbia Law School, she helped female employees win a class action lawsuit against the institution for gender discrimination. She later became a judge on the D.C. Circuit and was nominated by President Bill Clinton to the Supreme Court in 1993. While she was never the most liberal person in the room, she continued her work for women's rights in cases such as United States v. Virginia, where she educated her fellow justices on the exclusion of women from Virginia Military Institute. RBG support system. RBG's success and longevity in her career as a justice were only possible with the unwavering support of her life partner, Marty, and her fellow judges. Ruth Bader Ginsburg, famously known as RBG, understood that the only way to change the perception of women's stature in the judicial system was by maintaining her equanimity. RBG's relationship with her husband, Marty, was built upon mutual respect and support. His encouragement was pivotal, and he was always ready to help her in any way he could. He left his career in New York City when she was appointed to the D.C. Circuit and became her driver until she got one. Marty also cooked her meals, kept her on track during long workdays, and reminded her to take breaks when needed. Their relationship was an excellent example of how a progressive family structure could function. RBG also cemented friendships with many of her colleagues, including conservative Justice Antonin Scalia. Their friendship blossomed, even though they held opposite political views. They shared a love for opera, which strengthened their bond. RBG referred to Marty as her life partner, and his death from metastatic cancer in 2010 created a tremendous void in her life. Her relationships with other judges, including Sandra Day O'Connor, played a vital role in her professional and personal life. O'Connor advised RBG to receive chemotherapy treatments on Fridays to ensure she had weekends to recover, allowing her not to miss a day on the bench. These relationships created the much-needed support system that RBG needed to excel in her job. Ultimately, RBG's successful career and the impact she made on gender equality and women's rights were due to her perseverance and the support she received from her husband Marty and her peers in the judicial system. The Dissenting Voice of RBG. RBG, the change agent on the U.S. Supreme Court, has become famous for her dissents that uphold liberal values. Once a reluctant dissenter, she has transformed into a fearless voice of opposition, fiercely defending equal rights and social justice for all. Through her powerful dissents on cases like Gonzalez v. Carhart, Ledbetter v. Goodyear, and Burwell v. Hobby Lobby, she has shown her unwavering commitment to gender equality and a woman's right to control her reproductive life. In Shelby County v. Holder, she expressed her staunch opposition to dismantling the Voting Rights Act, a key legislation which prohibited racial discrimination in voting. The book explores how the election of George W. Bush and the appointment of conservative justices prompted RBG's transformation into a strong dissenter, upholding the balance of the court. Her message is a call to action, urging the public to stand up for their rights and fight for social justice. The rise of RBG through Dissents. RBG's dissenting opinions have raised her to a public icon among various generations and inspired millennials to fight for justice on various social media platforms. Despite being diagnosed with pancreatic cancer, RBG has refused to retire and sees her work as critical in representing women in the Supreme Court.
Notorious RBG's story is a testament to the unwavering passion, dedication, and intelligence she demonstrated throughout her personal life and impressive legal career. RBG fought for equal rights for all, stood up against gender discrimination, and defied societal norms. Her iconic dissenting opinions exemplify her resolute spirit, while her role as a Supreme Court justice cemented her status as a pioneer in American jurisprudence. Through her fascinating life story, Ruth Bader Ginsburg emerged as an emblem of resilience and justice, proving that one determined individual could make a lasting impact on the world.